Let me walk you through the general settings of the pages. So everything that is on the sidebar over here and on top of the page over here. So over here on the left-hand side menu, you have site settings, styles, components, and AI. So in sites, you can choose some basics like settings, so you can share like global components among like multiple individual pages belonging to a particular website. So if you do want to create like a website that is very like cohesive, you can make sure that you have like default styles, but then you need to like first like save them over here, like SEO parameters, things like that. Like typically you don't need that, but I'm just gonna show you what the options are. So in the styles, you can save a few things from here. So you can say that like the page background, like the default color is like this one, and then the content background is like this one, for example. And then you can also choose the page width. You can also choose like fixed, but I would never recommend that. So I would just have full. And here, whenever you have this like question mark, when you hover over it, then you will see additional information, what you can do. Um, so yeah, the full ensures that the page will always be like 100%, so it will be full screen, and fixed is like centering the content in a column for consistent display on all devices. So I always make sure that everything else is like fixed, but then I like everything else is like centered, like all of the assets. And then I will always choose the full one, and that's the default setting as well, so you don't need to worry about it. And then you can also like make some like component options from here. So if you know that your font is like, I don't know, Times New Roman, and your typical like font size is like 0.8, you can apply that. So this will be the standard across the whole page. So it will just save you some time from like editing that everywhere. And then you can also do like custom styles, which is like an actual like code. So I'm not even gonna go into that. And then in the settings, if you have especially like duplicated a page before, then you do want to click on to like SEO parameters and like add the page name like up here. So like I don't know, I'm just gonna call it test page for now, but like you can put in the name over here, and if it was a cloned page, and then like it will have the same name. And the way how this will like show up is when you open the website and you can see like all of the browser windows that you have open, this is the name that will appear. So even if you change the name in the like settings inside of the Kartra pages, like make sure to come in here and change that as well if it's a cloned page. And then you can add some like additional things here. You can fill in like you can fill in all of those things with like the name of your program or anything like that, to like make sure that there is like a little bit more of like an SEO. And if you do want to like hide it from search engines, you can toggle that on. But honestly, Kartra doesn't have such a good like search engine that even if it's like your thank you page or anything that is like, I don't know, quote unquote secret, like people will not find it unless they know the exact URL. But if you do want to make sure that like no one can find it and be sure, you can always like toggle that on. Then we talked about sites, and then we have components. So that is obviously what you use when you want to like add any components in. There's a separate video about that. And then you also have AI. So in the basic plans, there is like a little bit of like AI, so like 100 users left like every month. So you can add some things in here as well. Obviously, you can always use ChatGPT, but if you're like, I want to like, I don't know, do this, or like I don't know, like let's see if we can actually use that. Like let's put in something here. My page is about how I support my clients with Kartra setup. They are online coaches, something like that. Obviously, like you have to make it very, very specific. Then like you can choose the tone, you can even choose the language if it's like something else than English, and then you can use like Kartra AI, and then it will like prepare your content for you. But like again, I would just like recommend to use ChatGPT for that. You can do back and forth. It will probably like work faster as well, to like make sure that you can have it like for a specific section rather than for like the whole page basically. And then over here we have the columns. There's a separate video about like all things columns, and then you can see how the content will appear on desktop, tablet, mobile, so you can like look at all of those things, and I definitely like recommend to choose like the mobile one. So you can also see something is like really wrong here on the mobile view, to always make sure that it looks good on the phone. And sometimes like maybe the phone is even more important than like the desktop view. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, especially when it comes to font sizes and things like that. But now you can see like you can ask to like revert, you can like revert to a previous one, you can ask to refine, sorry, or you can accept. But if you do want to, like, you can see some of the things that are like in there. So now it just like filled in the whole page with me with some like Kartra stuff. So that can be like super useful to use as well. And then you can also have like autosave on. So when I toggle that on, you can see that it saves every 20 seconds. I definitely recommend that. And like if you are like making a lot of changes or you're like creating a page from scratch, I do recommend to actually like publish live, or like at the very least like save progress every now and then, because if something happens, I don't know, your laptop runs out of battery, like there's like an internet thing, I don't know, something could happen. You don't want to lose the progress, but like with autosave you should be safe. But I do like to use like publish live as well. And like it doesn't need to be fully finalized before you publish. Again, Kartra SEO is not so strong that people can just find it somewhere when they Google for something random, unless you have something that is very niche. But you can do that as well. And here is where you can save it as a template if you want to like use this exact page, or like, I don't know, part of it as a template. But you can always clone it as well. But if you know like, oh, I want to create like one specific section, or like a few sections that I want to like replicate across like a few different pages, then you can choose that as well. And instead of the preview, what I would always do is to click publish live, and then actually like grab the URL link, and then make sure that the page looks exactly how you want it to look. Because the preview, I feel like sometimes it's just like still not exactly what you want. If you click on this icon over here, you can like put in like an actual page name here, like your offer name, whatever it is, instead of the numbers. And if you have your domain connected, then you can just click here and then click on this like drop down and choose your domain from there. So now when we have this like page, then you can just like copy paste this link and then put it in your browser like search bar, and then open it from there, and then you will see the actual page and how everything looks like when it's published. So I always recommend to do that instead of the preview inside the page itself. So that's everything about like general settings, everything that you need to know. So usually you just have to go to settings and SEO parameters and change the name if it's a page duplicated. You can use AI. Obviously you need to use components when you create the page, but you don't typically need to use the site and style settings for anything that you create inside the pages.